Look, most people using Claude are just typing into a chat window, copying the text, and honestly, they're completely wasting the massive power of their subscription. So let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're walking through 10 highly practical, concrete steps that will literally change how you use this tool permanently. We're going to take you from just another casual user to someone who operates way ahead of the curve. We've structured this progression into 3 clear tiers for you: beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Starting off with part 1, beginner, the foundation.
All right, tip number 1, choose your sign-up email very carefully. See, Claude doesn't actually let you change the email tied to your account, and this is a huge deal because every single session, you're effectively training Claude on how you like things done. All that learned context, it's permanently tied to your account email. So if you sign up with a work email and then say you switch jobs down the line, you lose access to that inbox, and boom, everything Claude has learned about you just vanishes. Always use a personal email you know you'll keep for good.
Moving right along to tip 2, setting up memory. Claude gets exponentially more useful the more it knows about you. And hey, if you're migrating from another AI platform, you don't have to start from scratch. It's super easy. Just go into Settings, click on Capabilities, and hit Import. Claude will actually hand you a specific prompt. You just run that prompt in your old platform, copy whatever it spits out, and paste it straight back into Claude. Just like that, all your valuable context transfers right over.
But here's the thing with that imported memory. It usually over-indexes on your work life and totally ignores your personal life. To fix this, you can just prompt Claude to interview. Seriously, tell it to ask you questions about your personal life, your goals, and your specific workflow preferences. Now, typing all that out can be a total drag, right? So instead, just use Claude's voice input feature or any voice-to-text tool. Just talk through your answers naturally. It's a quick, one-time investment that pays off immensely.
Okay, before we get into choosing models, we really need to define 2 critical terms. First up, tokens. Think of tokens as the units of usage you're paying for. They basically dictate how fast you hit your limits. Second is research mode. Now, this isn't a model itself. It's a toggle you can flip on within a model. When it's on, Claude scours the web, pulls from a bunch of sources, and builds this highly structured report. But a quick heads up, research mode absolutely eats through your tokens and usage limits, so you've got to be super specific about what you want it to cover.
Which brings us perfectly to tip 3. Understand the models so you don't burn through your money and limits. Think of these 4 models like a team of employees. Haiku is your lightest model. It's got a very low burn rate, making it perfect for light work or those quick back-and-forth tasks, like that memory interview we just talked about. Then you have Sonnet. That's your daily driver with a medium burn rate, really solid for second-layer thinking. Opus is your heavy hitter for complex, multi-layered work, but man, it burns through limits high and fast. And finally, there's Fable, the top-tier model, which was actually recently restored after a brief regulatory suspension. It also has a high burn rate. The takeaway here? You wouldn't put your most senior executive on generic emails, right? So hand the small stuff to Haiku and Sonnet and save Opus and Fable for the heavy lifting.
Now let's quickly clear up some confusion between 2 concepts: memory and skills. Memory, which we just set up, is passive. It's just Claude dynamically learning about you in the background over time. A skill, on the other hand, is active and rigid. It's a fixed, reusable set of instructions that you build exactly once to do one specific, highly repeatable job.
Knowing that leads us to tip 4. Use those skills to automate your repetitive work. Seriously, anything monotonous like formatting a weekly report for your manager or maybe structuring your LinkedIn posts should be a skill. Once you lock in a process, just tell Claude to turn it into a skill. Or, even better, you can download pre-built skills from community sites like SkillMCP, which has tons of automations for stuff like code review. You just download the file, pop over to Settings, and upload it. Stacking these automations is the exact moment Claude stops feeling like a simple chat window and really starts feeling like a dedicated personal assistant.
Wrapping up the beginner section, we have tip 5. Be cautious with projects. See, a general chat has full access to your brand identity, your tone, and that whole memory context we built up. But a project operates with a completely sealed-off memory. It only searches within itself. Work you do in one project does not carry over to another. So if you overuse projects, you're going to find yourself constantly re-explaining your context every single time. Honestly, keep it simple. Maybe just one work project and one personal project. And remember, you can always toggle any chat in or out of a project whenever you need to.
Moving on to part 2, intermediate, connecting to the outside world. Tip 6 is all about connecting your apps. If you navigate to Settings, then Connectors, you can allow Claude to interact with your inbox and schedule. You don't need to connect every single app out there, but Gmail and Calendar, those are absolute game changers. With Gmail connected, Claude can sift through your emails and draft replies for your morning triage. And don't worry, it only drafts them, it never sends automatically, so you always keep control. When you connect your calendar, Claude can review your entire week, spot the gaps, and intelligently block out time for deep work or even a trip to the gym.
Tip 7 is to use the Chrome extension. Once you download it from the Chrome store and sign in, Claude can interact directly inside your browser tabs. It reads pages, clicks buttons, fills out fields, and even hops between different tabs. Just imagine having it compare a product across 4 different retail sites to find the best option, saving you from reading hundreds of reviews. It's totally supervised, meaning it always asks before changing things. Just a quick pro tip though. For safety, make sure you close out any banking or sensitive personal tabs before you start having it click around.
All right, let's step it up to part 3, advanced, full autonomy. First, we need to define 2 advanced features. Cowork is a feature where Claude basically acts as a trusted, autonomous agent, interacting with your computer's actual local files and folders. And Dispatch is a feature that pairs your phone directly to your computer using a QR code, which lets you send Cowork tasks remotely while you're away from your desk.
Putting those together gives us Tip 8, Cowork and Dispatch. You are literally handing off entire jobs right on your local machine. You grant Cowork access to specific folders and it can read, edit, and create files on its own. The source gives this amazing example. You can point it at a completely messy downloads folder. You know, the one full of duplicate photos and weird file names. It will propose a plan, and once you hit approve, it sorts and cleans the entire folder in minutes. Plus, using Dispatch, you could send a task from your phone to run a morning routine on your computer while you're in the kitchen making coffee.
Next up, let's define Claude Code. And hey, don't let the word code scare you off. Claude Code is simply a feature inside the Claude desktop app that lets you build, test, and fix functional software using nothing but plain English prompts. You don't need a terminal or a complex developer environment at all.
That brings us to tip 9, using Claude Code. You'll find it right in the Code tab of the desktop app. Our source material shares this incredibly cool example. A complete non-developer used it to build a custom running app. It tracks their mileage and dynamically plans workouts, all without them writing a single line of code themselves. Think about that. Instead of messing around with clunky spreadsheets or paying for generic apps, you can just describe the exact hobby tracker or tool you want in plain English and have Claude build it for you.
Our final definition for this explainer is Claude Design. This is a specialized tool for generating real, functional websites, mockups, and landing pages. And I really want to emphasize this. It produces working code with actual clickable buttons. We are not just talking about generating static flat pictures here.
And that leads us to our final tip. Tip 10, Claude Design. Say you need a landing page. You simply ask for a website, and boom, you get a real site with functioning clicks. This is a tool built specifically for structured layouts, and it literally turns what used to be days of back and forth with a design team into a task that takes just a few minutes. Best of all, this massive capability is already included in your standard subscription.
Finally, part 4, the bottom line.
Here's the truth. Applying even half of the tips we just covered puts you so far ahead of most users. It's time to stop treating Claude like a basic chat window where you just manually type questions and copy answers. Set these automations and skills up once. Let Claude handle all the boring, repetitive grunt work so you can actually focus your time and energy on the deep work that truly matters.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one question to think about. Looking at your own daily workflow, what tedious, repetitive task are you going to automate and hand off to Claude today? Thanks for exploring this with us. Now go put these tools to work.